So, what if you were taken to court for breaking the law that didn't even exist? I know it sounds like something out of a movie, but it's exactly what happened in a real-life case that tied up the courts for over a decade. Let's get into the absolutely bizarre story of this phantom tax law.
Our story kicks off right here with this document from Pakistan's Supreme Court. Now, on one side, you've got a major university, Allama Iqbal Open University, and on the other side, the National Tax Authority, the Commissioner of Inland Revenue. And that, right there, set the stage for a 10-year-long legal tug-of-war.
So what was this all about? Well, the tax department accused the university of failing to act as a withholding agent for a period back in 2012 and 2013. Now, in plain English, they were saying the university was supposed to collect sales tax from its suppliers and then hand that money over to the government. But it didn't. Seems pretty straightforward, right? Well, hold on. It's not that simple.
This one accusation started a legal journey so long and so winding, it's honestly hard to keep track. The case just bounced around the court system for years, taking all sorts of confusing twists and turns.
Just take a look at this timeline. It all starts in December 2014, when the tax department sends an official notice. A few months later, boom, the first ruling goes against the university. But then, later that same year, the university appeals, and they win. You'd think that would be the end of it, right? Nope, not even close. Fast forward a whopping 8 years to 2023, and the High Court flips the decision again, siding with the tax department. It literally took until 2025 for this whole mess to finally land in the Supreme Court. I mean, each side had won and each side had lost. So the big question was, who was actually right?
To get to the bottom of it, the Supreme Court didn't just rehash old arguments. Nope, they went straight to the evidence. Specifically, they looked at the law the tax department was using to build its case. And folks, this is where the whole thing just completely falls apart.
So, this is the million-dollar question. What was the fatal flaw in the taxman's argument? The one thing that apparently everyone else had missed for nearly 10 years. Just think about it for a second.
Okay, here's the bombshell. The tax department based its entire case on Section 11, subsection 4 of the Sales Tax Act. The problem? That part of the law is for, like, accidental short payments or a simple accounting mistake. It has absolutely nothing to do with the duties of a withholding agent. The section they should have used was Section 11, subsection 4A. It's like they brought a hammer to a job that needed a screwdriver. They used the completely wrong tool.
And that leads to the obvious follow-up question, right? If Section 11.4a was the correct one, why on earth didn't they just use it to charge the university? Well, the answer to that question is the killer plot twist that ends this whole story.
The answer is just this one number, 2016, because that's the year that Section 11.4a, the correct law, the one they needed for their case, was actually written and officially added to the Sales Tax Act.
Let this sink in for a second. The so-called violation happened between 2012 and 2013, but the law that actually made it a violation didn't even exist until 2016. It's kind of like getting a speeding ticket in 2013 for going 60 in a 60 zone. But then in 2016, they changed the speed limit to 50 and try to punish you for what you did 3 years earlier. It makes no sense. You simply can't break a rule that hasn't been written yet.
So once the Supreme Court justices spotted this massive fundamental flaw that had somehow been hiding in plain sight for a decade, well, the path to a final verdict was suddenly crystal clear.
And, no surprise here, the Supreme Court ruled decisively in favor of the university. The decade-long battle was finally over. The university was cleared.
And you don't have to take my word for it. Here are the court's own words, which just perfectly nail the issue. They state, with total clarity, that the provisions that could have held the university liable were not in existence at the relevant time. I mean, that is the legal equivalent of a mic drop.
This whole case really boils down to a super important legal principle called non-retroactivity. It's a cornerstone of any fair legal system, and all it means is that a new law can't be applied backwards in time. It's there to protect all of us from being punished for doing something that was perfectly legal at the time we did it.
So yeah, it's a wild story, but beyond this one university and this one tax case, why is this idea so important? Let's break down why this really matters for everyone, not just for lawyers.
Well, for starters, it's about basic fairness. You just can't change the rules of the game after it's already been played. It's also about predictability. You, me, businesses, everybody. We need to know what the rules are today so we can make decisions. Without that, how could anyone operate? And finally, and this one is huge, it's a massive protection against the abuse of power. It stops a government from just inventing a new law tomorrow to punish a person or a group for something they did last year. It keeps the system honest.
So I'll just leave you with this thought. We kind of take it for granted, but this whole idea of non-retroactivity, it gives us the confidence to live our lives, to invest, to create, all while being secure in the knowledge that the legal ground we're standing on won't just shift out from under us tomorrow. It's a quiet but powerful guarantee that today's rules are the ones that count.